welcome to Madam Start Up once again. In our last class, we discussed the concept of statistics, the definition basically, and we defined, if you can still remember, we defined statistics with a simple acronym called COSPAD. And if you are still with me, I said that the C in the COSPAD implies collection, organization, that is the O, the selection, the presentation, the analysis, and the drawing out of useful conclusion for the purpose of data analysis. Now, in other words, if you are to put it in a suitable definition, you will have just said that statistics can be defined as a collection, organization, the selection, the presentation, the analysis, and the drawing out of useful conclusion for the purpose of data analysis. But today, we are going to be discussing the two broad headings under statistics, and that is the inferential statistics and the descriptive statistics. And basically, what we just need to do is to have a very good idea or good idea on what these two terms, these two headings imply. The word descriptive is actually easy to understand if you can understand the concept of describe. For instance, if I brought a marker to you and asked you to describe it, then you will just switch to describing the character of this marker to me. For instance, okay, it has ink, it has this, it has that. Now, the moment you are describing a particular entity, you are automatically doing descriptive statistics. So, what is descriptive statistics? Is actually a means by which we describe the character of a sample or perhaps a population. A sample or perhaps a population. Okay, so that I will not leave you in a limbo, I would like to define what population and sample imply. So, what is sample? What is population? What is population? Now, let me start with population. Population is simply defined as the observation of entities, the total entities under observation or under consideration. The moment I define a frame, the entity in that scope is defined as my population. For instance, if my aim is to study females with no restriction, then the female in the whole world becomes my population. Now, if my aim is to study black men, then the blacks becomes my population. So it depends on what I am to study or what I want to study before I can describe or talk about population. But the subset of that population is referred to as sample. The subset of the population is referred to as sample. For instance, if this boundary is a population, then small part, any small part you pick from this sample, from this population, is referred to as what? As a sample. It's simply referred to as a sample, basically. So, now what does it mean? Do you know that before I go into project or into analysis, I need to understand the character of my population, of the entities in my population. So that is why we need to do what we call descriptive statistics. And there are tools that are available in describing these things for us. And example include what you know, the 3 M's of statistics: the mean, the median, and the mode. These 3 are actually called measures of central tendencies. And we have measures of variabilities, measures of partitions, and the likes of them. So what they do is that they try to give us an insight, give us the character of the said or our targeted population. That is what the measures of, that is what our descriptive statistics tends to do. It tends to give us a character, the characteristics of our population or perhaps sample. Why inferential? For instance, like let me just make reference to our last video where I defined, I clumped the old definition of statistics into the term called COSPAD. Now, you remember I said that this last part is very, very important. Now, if I call this first 5, if I call it descriptive, then this D is suitable to be called the inferential statistics. In that, what the first 5 tends to do is that they tend to do some collation, some gatherings of the data, and they tend to give us the character of that data. Then the last one tends to draw the useful conclusion based on our inference. So inferential statistics has 2 broad headings as well: the estimation and the hypothesis. So what it tends to do is that from our description, we can now tell we can now draw a conclusion from it to judge the population. Like I said, it is tough for us to do the population. Perhaps I'm still going to make a video on sample population for more insight. So it is tough for us actually to have to deal with population. So we go for sample. So when we draw a sample from a population, what we do is that we judge the whole population based on what we have in our sample. Based on what we have in our sample. So inference statistics in a more formal and understandable way is a statistics that is used to make inference over a population by what we have gained on our sample, by our judgment on the sample, basically. So that is that for that. So in our next class, perhaps I'll be discussing the concept of sample and the population, and maybe ways by which you can describe our data, describe the rough data. How can we make use of the descriptive statistics? How can we make use of the inferential statistics? But then, please just stay put and stay connected, and please endeavor to subscribe so you can get hint of more of our videos. Thank you.